What's up? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with some more NBA news. Haven't done some NBA news in a while, but I believe today, Magic Johnson announced that he is leaving ESPN. Um, he said there were other commitments and whatnot, and that he would no longer show up on the he comes up on the mainly when they talk about NBA, it's usually like the halftime show or right before the game. He'll talk about the games and stuff. Um, I don't watch ESPN, but I kind of thought this was big news because unfortunately there are games that come on ESPN that don't come on, and you can't watch them on the league pass. You have to watch them on ESPN. ESPN has exclusive rights to those particular games. Um, and unfortunately, you got to hear him talk, and either pregame or halftime, and definitely post game. Um, Magic's a great player. Now, I will never question what the guy has contributed to the sport. But as a commentator, he's terrible, and people have to, put everything aside. I'm not attacking him as a person or as a player. As a player, he was great, one of the greatest of all time. But as a commentator, he was terrible. I mean, he said some of the things. For one, he said Kobe was the driving force behind 5 championship rings when, most knowledgeable NBA fans know that is not true. Now, Kobe was part of those teams. He was an integral part, but he was not the driving force. Everyone knew that, the first 3. I'll give Kobe more credit for his last 2. He was the best player. But his first 3, he was not the driving force at all. It was Shaq. And everyone knows that. Something else he said in the past was just recently in the playoffs. He was saying the Lakers will beat the Spurs, and he didn't really give any valid reasons to why. I mean, I understand that's an opinion. He's a Laker guy. He was gonna go with a biased opinion, but he's one of those guys. He throws, and it's ESPN. You kind of would expect it. He goes to the cookie cutter bring argument. When talking about players, he's a 5-time champion and all that garbage. Mainly referring to like a guy like Kobe. He'll refer to him being a champion. And what does him having to be a champion have to do with that particular game? I just don't understand why people they use that as an analysis of a game. Put the rings aside, that doesn't matter in just a random game. Talk about what you believe is gonna happen in the game. But I guess I want to see who's gonna replace him. Knowing them, they're probably gonna pick somebody like fucking John Barry or something. Anyway, when watching the games, especially the ESPN ones, I usually mute my TV when I watch those games because a lot of times even the in-game commentators aren't that good. They put guys like Reggie Miller. Um, uh, the one guy I do like is Huey Brown. He's the best commentator on ESPN. He actually breaks down the game. He actually breaks down the game. A lot of people call him boring, but the guy really knows what he's talking about. He was on the coaching staff when Oscar Robertson played. He knows basketball. The guy knows basketball. Huey Brown definitely one of the bright spots of any kind of NBA talk or during color commentating during the games of of ESPN. And if he's doing a broadcast, which they don't give him a big game. It's usually Jeff Van Gundy will get a game. Reggie Miller, Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr gets TNT, but whatever. They never have. Huey Brown would do it'll be Minnesota against Portland or something. He won't do no Lakers versus Heat or Heat versus Bulls. They won't allow him to do no game like that. Because a lot of people refer to him as being boring. But if you really understand the game, it's like this guy really knows what he's talking about. and he has more experience in terms of with basketball than any of the other commentators that's on ESPN. That's a fact. I mean, just go look at the guy's history in terms of with coaching. He used to coach the old Memphis team. Like I said, he was on the coaching staff with Oscar Robertson on that team. So he's seen great players, seen the Jordans, he's seen all the guys. So I like him as a commentator, not so much anybody else. I mean, that's some guys that's passable. That you say he's not that bad, but for the most part, it's pretty bad when you get your date when you get your frequent dosage of Reggie. Reggie Miller is terrible. And Magic was in that category of being a bad commentator. Great player, bad commentator. I think with him, it's, when he judges players, he judges them based on his standard. I mean, if he's doing it based on, how he was as a player, there's a lot of players that's not good. I mean, how many players can you name on a hand even close to what Magic can do? I mean, what Magic did, and his talent as a player. So, I think he's pretty biased in terms of that. He also is very Laker biased, which there are commentators that do that, and they could still be okay. A lot of NFL guys, but some of the things he said has just been like some of the things I mentioned earlier is completely ridiculous. I don't want to say I want to see someone go, but he really never brought anything to the table. I mean, he was mainly there because he's Magic. Let's be honest, he was there because he was Magic. And utmost respect to Magic, but he was a horrible commentator. He left on his own reasons. It is what it is. But whatever. That's really all I want to talk about. There was some news that I just actually got wind of. Let me know, what are some of the worst things you've seen Magic say? What did you think about him as a commentator on ESPN? If you ever, most people have seen him. Even people I know that completely do not watch ESPN. Unfortunately, they have to see those they look at those halftime shows because some games only come on ESPN. So you're pretty much, unless you turn your TV off and mute it, you're pretty much gonna hear him. But like I said, let me know what you think down in the comment section. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe. Thanks for watching.